So the All Blacks have confirmed their spot in the semi-final, and they will be going head-to-head with none other than the Pumas, a side that they have played already in 2023 for the Rugby Championship. But the stakes are a lot higher now. A spot in the final on the line. In this video, we are going to be trying our best to predict the lineup that Ian Foster will be going with in this contest to take on the Pumas. It is myself, and it is Rugbyitch. The AB's pulling off that close game up against the Irish. Course, the Pumas getting themselves that victory over Wales. This is going to be an epic game. Who do you see with the more momentum heading into this fixture?
Ooh, okay. I mean, momentum-wise, you've got to say the All Blacks. I think that's a clear choice because they definitely faced a tougher opponent in the Irish compared to the Welsh. Not to obviously downplay the Welsh, but I think Ireland obviously are number one, so to beat them was a pretty good win from an All Black perspective. But hey, But I think the Pumas are definitely have a bit of momentum with them then now. I mean, like since that loss in that first game, they've really just built on from that. And kind of similar to what we saw with the Box, actually, just like as a comparison to what in 2019, where they lost the very first game. And then since they've been able to kind of build on. So, yeah, we'll have to see if New Zealand can obviously stop them in their tracks, or could Argentina do something incredible here. We'll just have to wait and see.
Of course, for the All Blacks, something that we have seen throughout this Rugby World Cup is a huge amount of changes in each of their starting lineups and reserves. I feel like this game here up against Argentina, we're going to start to see a lot more consistency in the players that the ABs are selecting. So we will start with the front row. Have you got consistency here for this game up against Los Pumas?
I do. Simple as that. I've got even the Groot, Cody Taylor, and Tyrell Lomax as the number 3 option there. And just you got to go with these 3 alone. I've been changing into this 3 from Alpha, Nepo, and Cody. There's just a huge difference in terms of what we saw in terms of that front row. And I think the All Blacks are able to kind of, I'm not going to say they were better in that scrum, but they at least made it even against the likes of Porter and Furlong, because those two are like units, and like they're like really good in those scrums. So to even them out is a very impressive thing to do. And so you got to give props to even the group there, as well as Tyrell Lomax. So you got to go with them two for sure. And then, yeah, Cody Taylor, I just think he's been the most reliable hooker that the All Blacks have so far. I mean, Dane Coles has been, I guess, somewhat impressive, but I wouldn't really look at him for this game. And again, Samisoni Takalaho, just another player who hasn't had as many minutes, I'd say, under his belt so far in this World Cup. So it'll be interesting to see who they obviously go off the bench. But for now, Cody Taylor has to be the starter hooker.
I honestly feel like Ethan de Groot, those couple weeks off that he had, have heavily helped him in terms of the way that he was playing, because he was out of form. He was struggling. Tyrell Lomax, of course, dealing with that injury as well recently. But I have gone with the same front row as yourself. Ethan de Groot, number 1. Cody Taylor, number 2. And Tyrell Lomax at number 3. Now, Cody Taylor, we've got to remember his lineouts. They were accurate throughout that game up against the Irish. Also making 14 from 14 tackles. So not missing a beat there. In the scrums, the Irish, like you said, they were putting the All Blacks under huge pressure, actually forcing them back at times. But it was just that angling of Andrew Porter that did seem to get the Irish in a few disciplinary issues early on in the game. But now moving on to the locks. For myself, I have gone unchanged in this contest. Brodie Retallick at number 4 and Scott Barrett at number 5. Now, between these two men, they made 33 tackles in that game up against the Irish, and also a crucial line-out steal from Brodie Retallick is the reason I've kept him at number 4. We've got to remember there's a great lock who did come off the bench in that game up against the Irish, and that being Sam Whitelock, the man who got that final turnover that the ABs needed to walk away with the victory. But for yourself, have you stuck with the same combo, or have you made a bit of a switch there?
I would normally just stick with the same combo here, actually, with Retallick and Barrett, but I just felt, this is a game where I think, not to underestimate the Argentinians here, but I just think going into this fixture, I think the All Blacks can be a bit more, I guess, adventurous, I guess, in terms of the selections to go with in this one compared to what they went with in that Ireland game. So for that reason alone, I actually have gone with Whitelock as number 4 and Barrett as the number 5 here. Scott Barrett, just to be clear. But yeah, just that combination alone, just you got to go with. And yeah, I guess, I mean, look, Retallick's been great. He's been pretty good throughout this World Cup. But again, I just feel like Whitelock, this is probably a game where he can definitely be better suited for. So yeah, that's my combination.
Alrighty, so now we move on to the loose forward trio for this contest. Now, we saw some standout performances from the All Blacks. Sam Cane having one of the best games I believe he has had in an All Blacks jersey. Artie Savia having a man-of-the-match performance, getting massive meters made, turnovers won, you name it, the man was doing it. Now, you said you were adventurous when it came to your locking duo. Have you gone adventurous in this loose forward trio as well?
I couldn't. I think these three they were, every single one of them I thought were great. I mean, Shannon Vazel at the 6 was pretty good, I'd say, throughout the game. Out of all the three, he was probably the one that didn't, like, not to see it in a bad way, he just didn't stand out as compared to the likes of Kane and Argentina, because those two were arguably the best players in that game against the Irish. So it was just, but look, Shannon Vazel was great at the end of the day, very reliable, and since he's been, kind of put in the number 6 jersey, he has just been great for the All Blacks and really kind of gelled in that position. So, him in the number 6, Kane number 7, Argentina number 8. You just got to go with that 3. I mean, Sam Kane has just proved everyone in that game, he just silenced everyone. He just proved everyone that he is just, he deserves to be in the number 7 jersey and to captain the All Blacks. He's really just transformed his form throughout the last few years now, and that game alone, I would say, was probably his best game for the All Blacks. So, just really impressive by him. And then, Argentina, just another player who just stood out and definitely deserved that man-of-match performance against the Irish. He was just all over the place in terms of the breakdown, scoring tries, just going left and right. So he was great. And I think you could even make the same case, saying that was probably his best game, actually, for the All Blacks. I can't think of another game where he probably stood out as more in that. But both of them were great. So you've got to go with that trio alone.
And we mentioned before this game took place, Sam Kane had to try and match Josh Van den Vlare, because Josh Van den Vlare, he's regarded as one of the best 7s in world rugby, and Sam Kane pretty much shut the youngster out of this contest and managed to make himself 22 tackles throughout it. It seems so ironic having that with the Irish flag behind you, doesn't
Exactly.
it? But for myself, unchanged in the loose forward trio as well. Shannon Frizzell and number 6 got himself also a line-out steal in that last contest up against the Irish, so bringing in the 2 total for the ABs between him and Brady Retallick. Sam Kane getting the 2 turnovers, one with his 22 tackles. Big shots as well coming in from him. He was flying all around the field. I remember his spear tackle taking place. He was just really trying to show everyone exactly how good he can be. And then Artie Savia, he wasn't having none of it. He was saying, "Oi, Sam, I'm still going to make sure that I'm the best player on the field, even if you're going to have a blinder." That's how Kiwis talk, isn't it? Oi.
Yeah, exactly,
that's more Aussie, isn't it?
I thought it was more Aussie, but
slowly switching between the two. I have been told when I talk fast, I sound more Aussie than Kiwi, but I'm not sure where that comes from.
Fair enough.
That was a useless fact, but it was a fun one, wasn't
it? It's good to know now. So, like, for future live streams that I kind of click on, I'll be like, is he an Aussie accent now?
I think everyone will agree that no matter how fast you talk, we will still have comments that come through saying, "Where is this guy from?"
You know what? Actually, I'm gonna save people the trouble who comment just for this video. I'm just because there'll eventually be a comment of where I'm from. Just put it out there quickly. I was born and raised in Hong Kong. My mom's from America, dad's from Zimbabwe, and I have an Irish and American passport. There you go. Just simple as that. Just making it simple for everyone. But yeah.
I call it indecisive. But moving on to number 8.
It's funny because I have an Irish passport, but I was supporting the All Blacks, so that's just how it is. Yeah.
Controversy. And that nice big flag behind you. We should mention Tim is at a hotel in France, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, that's the reason why there's all flags around this place, and of course the place I filmed this is right behind an Irish flag, so just by coincidence. But no, I was fully back in the All Blacks, so no. Don't get on to me for this, guys. Don't get on to me for that. But yeah.
So Artie Savia, my number 8, I should mention as well. Of course, sticking with him after his performance. That he had also beating 4 defenders along the way in that contest, but having some brilliant runs, scoring the try in that contest for the ABs as well. So that is why I've stuck with him. So I actually have made no changes in the overall 4-pack for the ABs, just the one for yourself, of bringing Sam Whitelock in rather than Brody Retallick. But now we move on to the 9-10 combo. This is where I've also made no changes. Aaron Smith at number 9. Now, I have to say, he probably didn't have the best game that he could have. In this case, got himself a yellow card, but still his passing game is something that really helped the All Blacks out when trying to build that momentum, and we saw some brilliant work throughout their backline. Main reason for that was how quickly Aaron Smith got the ball to their hands. Number 10, Richie Mo'unga. I've decided to stick with him. 78 metres carried in that last contest up against the Irish. We'll be looking for a lot more here with the open space that maybe the All Blacks will be able to find in the Pumas defense.
Yeah, no, I think them two alone just were great throughout this game. I mean, yes, like you said, Aaron Smith did get the yellow card, but as soon as he came off the bench, he kind of set up that try for Mwanga, actually. He kind of got a clean break, actually, through the Irish defense, and that obviously set up the Will Jordan try in the right-hand corner. So, yeah, I think both of them played brilliantly, and that's exactly the reason why I've gone with them as well, in terms of Smith at number 9, Mwanga number 10. He just got to... Again, I feel bad for McKenzie, really. It's one of those like where it's like maybe McKenzie, maybe it's like similar to what I did with Whitelock. Maybe that's a player you could maybe put as a 15 for this game, but that's a tough call. It's a tough call.
Very tough indeed. But now we move on to the centres. For yourself, who have you got in that midfield combo? You've mentioned about the fact that you were adventurous in taking one of the locks out. The centre combo, something that seems set in stone, is something that we could see switched up for the ABs here. So have you done so?
Yeah, no, not a chance.
You've learned. Yeah, no, that's almost a Kiwi thing too.
Not a chance, mate. No, I've got my Jordy Barrett number 12, Redco number 13. You just got to go with them too. I mean, again, it's the comment I made earlier on. Well, actually, no, this is probably you know what? The comment I made earlier on, how I said when it's this combination, both centers, it's only one of them that has a good game. I think this is the first game I can recall in a very long time where I felt both of them were outstanding. Yeah. So, I mean, Redco got 2 try assists. Jordy Barrett was all over the place. Just he did his thing. I thought both of them were great actually in this. So yeah, you've got to go with them too. I'm not downplaying Anton Brown though, because I thought he was very impressive when coming off the bench. He definitely made an impact for sure. But yeah, you got to go with them too in terms of that center combo.
And I have Jordy Barrett number 12. Redco Ioane, number 13. Yeah, Ioane needed a big game here. And after being rested in that last contest, similar to Ethan de Groot, it seems like it almost either fueled him to play better or just gave him that little bit more time to think about how he wanted to approach the game. But him in the midfield, up against the Argentines, we have seen it in the Rugby Championship before. He's normally very handy, and like you mentioned with those 2 try assists, perhaps just around the corner from another big performance. Now looking at the back 3. Number 11... I have gone with Leicester Whainānuku. Now, I do believe Mark Talia will be available for selection, but he was out last week due to disciplinary issues. And I honestly feel like for the All Blacks, they are one of those sides that seem to reward minutes. So the fact that Leicester Whainānuku played in that last contest up against the Irish, like he didn't do too badly. He was probably one of the more quiet backs out of the group, but I still feel like there is plenty for Whainānuku to show what he can do in this World Cup. And up against Argentina, I think he will go a lot better than he did. Up against the Irish, out on the right wing. Will Jordan, got to go with him at this stage, scoring the try. 15 tackles made, 78 metres carried. The man is a beast when he's running down the wing, and he will be hoping to do just that. Up against Los Pumas, more than likely, going with Mateo Carreras in this contest, another man who knows how to score tries and has done so throughout this World Cup. And then number 15, I have stuck with him. It is Beauden Barrett. Now, in our last one, I told Beauden Barrett off for chipping and chasing. This time, he actually got one right, and it led to a try for the All Blacks. So I do apologise.
It works all the time, mate. You just don't think it.
Doesn't quite all the time, but it works.
No, it works all the time.
Times.
You just close your eyes when it doesn't work. I think that's what you generally do. Like you're like, wait, is something happening? Oh wait, there's a try. Oh, that's.
But to Beauden Barrett's credit as well, he ran the ball a lot more up against the Irish, which we mentioned he would need to, because the kicking game up against the Northern Hemisphere sides we've seen does not normally work for the Southern Hemisphere side. So with the fact that Beauden Barrett was running 77 metres carried, 3 defenders beaten, looking very strong, Beauden. And yeah, he'll be hoping to continue that form into this game up against Argentina. But what about yourself? Did you go with that exact same 3, or did your Blues boy out on the left wing get himself another chance? Of course, I'm talking about none other than Caleb Clark.
I couldn't do it. I definitely couldn't do Caleb Clark, that's for sure. But no, I think for this game, again, similar to what I said with Whitelock, I feel like it's a game where it allows you to make changes and be a bit more adventurous. So this is the part of the field where I've done that. So yes, I have gone with Mark Talia as the number 11 jersey there. And I just think it's one of those where I think they were going to give the number 11 to him, I think, in that quarterfinal. They actually were going to give it to him, I think. Because Leicester already had 3 games, like I mentioned before. Mark Talia only had 2. It just felt right that it was going to be given to Mark Talia. But no, I think this is a game where I don't think if you switch out Mark Talia putting Martinelli for Lester Franancu. It's not going to change much, in my opinion. So I think you can definitely pick I think a player that can add a lot to this game in terms of, I guess, just breaking the line and just getting around players as it normally does in terms of defeating defenders beat him. But and he'll be my 11. 14, you go to Will Jordan, just 100%. It's Will Jordan. Let's just keep it like that. It's Will Jordan. And then, number 15, I've gone with Damon McKenzie here. I've gone with him play number 15. Okay. It's a bold call, but I think it's one of those where I want to see him play. And I think this is a great game for him because I've always, when I look back at the games, and again, this is going a while back now, but to that game where we saw, back in the Rugby Championship, obviously this is in Argentina, but McKenzie was outstanding in that game. So I feel he can definitely add that same kind of value into this game at a much higher stage. And of course, he's proven many times in the past he has the ability to shine. Again, he's played in countless Super Rugby finals. So he's definitely played the highest stage from a club perspective. So, I definitely think he can do that in a semi-final of the World Cup against the Argentinians. So, McKenzie, I've chosen number 15. And he's been great about this Rugby World Cup. So I just think he deserves a start, I think. And this is the perfect game to put him in. So, that's my back three for this game.
Was going to be off the bench in the last game up against the Irish, but did not get to make his way onto the field. Same with Finlay Christie, the other man that they did have as a back replacement. But now we look at the reserves. I believe in this game we are going to see a little bit more of those backs making an impact, just like Anton Leonard-Brown was able to in that game up against the Irish. So in your front row replacements, who have you gone with to take to the field late?
Yeah, in terms of my front row replacements, I've gone with Samisoni Takalaho as a number 16 option there as a replacement hooker. I've then gone with the likes of Ofatunga Fasi as, I guess, the loose head replacement. And then I've gone with Tamati Williams as the tight head replacement. So a few switches in there. Again, I would not be surprised if they went with Nepalala there, but I just feel Tamati Williams I've always picked him. I just feel like he's a player who's always been good off the bench. So that's my replacement front row there.
Well, I actually have 3 changes to yourself.
Oh, you've gone with really? Okay, I'll talk about it after you name yours.
So, number 16, Dane Coles. I felt like what he did off the bench up against the Irish, like he was still relatively solid. He only got about 5 minutes at the end of the game, or maybe about 10 with that Cody Taylor yellow card, but still managed to make all the tackles that he needed to and was working relatively well. Number 17, Tamati Williams. So I do have him in there just in the loose head prop department rather than the tight head, hence the change. And then number 18, I have gone with Fletcher Null once more. Sticking with the two Crusaders boys coming off the bench in the front row department.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really, it's 3 changes, but again, you still have Tamati Williams in there. And I was going to say, the one I'm surprised really is that you've stuck with Dane Coles there. Like, I think Dane Coles he's solid. He's always been very solid, but I think Takalaho is someone who in the past, and again, I know I'm thinking of the past, guys, maybe that's the wrong way to think about this, but he's done pretty well against the Pumas. To what he scored a lot of tries off the set pieces. So I think he's able to do that against the Pumas, who struggled a lot actually from a set piece position against the English, particularly from his lineouts. So I think that's where the All Blacks can definitely strike. And when you have someone like Samisoni Takalaho off the bench, he's gonna definitely I can definitely see him getting a try if he was to be included in that case. But we'll see what happens.
We're talking about Damien McKenzie and his impact he had in that first game up against Argentina in the Rugby Championship. Was it not Dane Coles who started that match at hooker up against Los Pumas?
Did he make an impact? I can't remember that.
He might have gone all right. Solid enough, isn't it?
Exactly. It's look. I'm just saying it's not a game where he would definitely not be in the top 5. Let's just say of the players I'd list out in that game. To what I recall. But yeah. In terms of your locks, then, if you've gone with from a locking position.
So off the bench for my lock, I have gone with Sam Whitelock, just because of what he was able to do. Not just, of course, what he was able to do up against the Irish, but just because he had so much experience to this AB side. A cool, calm head near the end of the contest. Number 20, I was so tempted to put Ethan Blackadder in there, or maybe even go with Luke Jacobson, but instead I've stuck with Dalton Papali'i. The reason behind that is I believe if we see Sam Cane do well in the first half, maybe at around 50 or so minutes, if the All Blacks feel they are confident that they can walk away with a victory, we may see Sam Cane get taken off for Papali'i to save him for that World Cup final. But of course, up against the Welsh, we saw the late comeback from Argentina, so you can never quite underestimate the Pumas and what they are able to do.
Yeah.
But those are the two other forward replacements I've gone with.
Yeah, so again, I've only made really one change to you here. Of course, I've gone with Bro Italic instead of Whitelock in that position. But yes, I have gone with Delta Lee off the bench. It just seems that he's been the best loose forward coming off the bench really for the All Blacks. And yeah, just don't think you change that. Like you said, just it's a good player to come off. He can cover 6 and 7, 8. I mean, I don't think he's played it in the past, but if he's needed there, he can probably play. But yeah, probably off the bench there.
So now we have 3 back replacements remaining. For yourself, I know last week we had quite a large debate about why it was Finlay Christie rather than Roygaard, who did end up getting that selection. In the end, Ian Foster said it was down to him wanting more defence off the bench rather than going with... didn't even give him a chance to show if he could tackle.
I don't get why you pick a player on that reason and then you just don't use him. But again, I said it in our office recording where maybe it's because of the yellow card with Aaron Smith, but again, I have no clue really just why I didn't do it. But I guess Aaron Smith was just having a good game off when he came off, so just maybe wanted to continue that form obviously for the rest of the game. But yeah, no, for myself, I have gone with Cameron Roygaard here as the replacement scrum half, so I have gone with him ahead of Finlay Christie in that case. And I've gone with Budden Barrett to come off the bench. I just think, of course, I've gone with McKenzie as my 15, so I just feel right. Budden Barrett can cover 10 and 15 if needed, so we've got to go with him there. And then, in terms of my last option, this is where I've actually gone with Lessa Van Anker. I just think he's another player who you can come on, can either play as winger or center if needed. I was considering Ancelota Brown actually because he did actually make a really good impact off the bench, so it most likely will be him. Now, the more I think about it, but I just feel like it's Leicester. I just feel like you can. I like versatility, so yeah, I'm going with Lessa Van Anker there.
Well, I like try scorers, so that is why I put Cam Roygaard as my number 21 in this contest. He's had a brilliant Rugby World Cup so far. It would be a shame if he doesn't get any other minutes throughout this World Cup competition, although there's also in the back of my mind that thought that because they didn't play Finlay Christie in the last game, they may feel like they need to play him in this game just because he didn't get that opportunity. But number 22, another man who didn't get that opportunity, Damian McKenzie, for me, is coming off the bench at number 22, and then number 23, his Chiefs teammate, Anton Leonard-Brown, to close out this All Black side. So we've got a few changes across our 23, but do let us know, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments who you think the All Blacks will be selecting in their 23-man side to take on the Pumas in the Rugby World Cup semi-final. But we do thank you all very much for tuning in. Be sure to check out the description where we have got the link for Rugbyitch's YouTube channel, as well as the Rugby Recap, our podcast, where we look through all things World Rugby each and every week of this World Cup. And thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all for the next one.